Throughout September, myself and my colleagues at the Automobile Journalists Association of Canada, or AJAC, are celebrating Eco Month. So throughout the month, we're all going to be driving various kind of, or we've been driving now, various kind of alternatively powered vehicles, EVs, hybrids, PHEVs, and so forth, writing stories about them, and also writing stories about various forms of kind of various sustainable acts or sustainable themes going on in the automotive world. Earlier on this month, I was driving the Leaf EV. It's a full EV vehicle, and it's one of the highest selling EVs out there. I think it's eclipsed only by the Tesla Model 3, I think, worldwide. Could be wrong about that, but I believe that's the case. And now today, I'm going to be actually in one of the Leaf's main competitors in North America, the Chevrolet Bolt EV. We're going to go more into depth later on about how similar these two are, but they are very much kind of aligned. So I'll be taking this for a drive in the city, on the highway, and I'll also be stopping by Petro-Canada to make use of their DC fast charging facilities as well. So come along with me as we take the 2020 Chevrolet Bolt EV for a spin in and around Vancouver, British Columbia. Yes, so the Chevrolet Bolt is indeed one of the Leaf's biggest competitors, and you don't have to look much past the interior room, the way, and certain other kind of similarities to see what I'm talking about. The proclaimed range on these two vehicles, or sorry, the claimed range on these two vehicles from their manufacturers around the same, about 385 kilometers. The interior space is similar, although the Leaf seems a little roomier to me. I don't have the figures right in front of me, but aside from the figures, I felt more comfortable in the Leaf, and I felt like I could stuff more stuff in the back of it as well. The starting price of both of these is around the same, about 44 grand thereabouts, before, just a little over that before incentives. And there's other little things that are similar too, like this, like the Leaf, has a shifter. Why can't these EV cars have normal shifters? They gotta have these finagly kind of electronic shifter things, and I guess I kind of get the idea, but the Leaf is that weird little joystick. This looks more traditional, but it's still kind of awkward to use. It's kind of like an awkward mix between what the Leaf has and what you might see in the BMW, which I don't love either. So that's kind of annoying. You gotta bump it this way and that to get, you gotta hold the button down to get into drive. It's just like, like it's kind of like safety precaution stuff. I get all that, I understand all that, but it's just kind of annoying. The electronic displays, the styling is a little more advanced than what you get from the Leaf, which is a much more traditionally styled interior than this vehicle has. You can even say the exterior on the Leaf is probably a little more traditional looking than this Bolt, which is very kind of egg-shaped, almost kind of like a swole out Smart 4.2 to a degree. This has this huge display here. I don't know the exact measurements, but it looks to be about 8 inches. It's definitely that, if not a little bit more. I've got my CarPlay going on here. Nice big display. I've got a digital display here, which is customizable as well. So this is a little more modified. Another thing I like about kind of this futuristic interior here is these displays have got more than just being eye candy. There's a lot of cool information being stored here as well. If I click my energy button here, it shows me my accessory or my climate settings are taking up 8% of my power right now. My driving takes up this amount. Battery conditioning, which keeps the battery at a certain temperature, is taking up this amount. So that's all kind of very interesting. And another thing I like about this is right now, I'm showing 395 kilometers of range on my battery right now on the display here. I'll bet that if I hit auto mode on my climate control system here, that will change almost right away. So there's auto mode, AC is on, and right away it drops all the way down to 338 kilometers of range, just like that. So it shows you just what it is that is causing you to drain on your energy. Also, you've got Your driving technique is rated on here, how much you're driving, how efficient it is, how much power it uses here and there. If I flip through these monitors, here's another one, just your average usage of history, your average power usage history is on this as well. They've got a whole suite of diagnostic information here, which I think is actually really, really cool, not to mention a great big screen for your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And now I turn AC off, turn the fan down, and there it goes up, 394 kilometers, just like that. Big fan of that. Big fan. Very informative, and that's important with EVs and range anxiety and all that kind of stuff. So, well done, Chevrolet. It's kind of like disco ball looking inserts in the dash here. This is a more futuristic looking vehicle for sure, and I guess that kind of flies in the face a little bit, I would say, with the Leaf, how there are people out there that don't like looking like they're driving an EV. They don't like it to look too futuristic. The exterior of the Bolt doesn't look as futuristic, I'd say, as the interior does. So there's that. Another thing this has in similarity to the Leaf is the Leaf had the e-pedal, the kind of like that mode that allows you to basically do one pedal driving. Hey, there's a Leaf right there, same color as the one I just tested a couple weeks back. Anyway, so this doesn't have officially an e-pedal switch, but it's got an L mode on the shifter. The L position only appears once you select drive first. And to get into L mode, you don't need to press the button on the side of the shifter. You just got to flip the shifter back, which I like. It's got an L mode, and as far as I can tell, it works exactly like the e-pedal does. I release my foot off of the throttle, and it'll slow itself down all the way to 0, and it'll stay there once it gets there. So very, very similar in that regard too. There we go. I'm not braking at all. Full stop. Full stop. So again, no need to have a hold switch on your transmission, so you can rest your feet when you're stopped. You don't have to leave your foot on the brake, which I like. So that's L mode, and like e-pedal mode in the Leaf, the L mode is selectable because you don't want it on all the time. When on the surface you'd think you'd want your EV car giving you regen, and I don't know if I assumed you'd seen my Leaf video. What that does, that one pedal driving, is increases brake regen as well. There's the polar opposite of an electric car, a Lamborghini Aventador, only in Vancouver. Anyway, it gives you more brake regen. That's kind of what it's all about. So it helps you slow down and do one pedal driving, and also regen. It gives you more, regenerates your battery power as well. So you say, why wouldn't you always want that? Why do I have to select L? Well, because it's quite draggy. When I release my foot here, it really slows down. So much so that you're probably going to start annoying the person behind you on if you're even going more than 20 kilometers an hour. So that's why it's modifiable. You don't want it on the highway. It's not really meant for that. So that's why you can turn it on and off by flipping the shifter. And I just turned it off there, and there you go. In addition to my feeling like I had more space in the Leaf, I find the ride in the Leaf to be a little bit better as well. The ride in this Bolt is a little firmer. The seats are a little firmer too, although they're constructed with this really interesting material, which I wouldn't be surprised if it's some kind of like biodegradable or maybe recycled material. That's at least what it feels like. So the seats are a little firmer. The back and bottom cushion are both a little small for me. I feel like I'd use a couple, maybe like at least 1 extra inch. Maybe not on either side, but a cumulative, so half an inch on each side would be nice. I find that the seat's not quite big enough. I am a bigger frame person though. I'm not afraid to admit it. So there you go. But I find the comfort in the Leaf to be a little bit better. Of course, both these vehicles are very quiet. They are electric vehicles. There's no drivetrain noise, and they're both pretty aerodynamically shaped, so you don't get a lot of wind noise either, which we're gonna find out more on as I join the highway here in just a couple of minutes. So far the Leaf is actually the nicer, more comfortable drive. I found it to be anyways. So there's kind of a feather in the Leaf's cap. So now we're on the highway, and it's a chance to kind of test the on-road manners and dynamics of this vehicle. 1-speed direct drive transmission, just like the Leaf has. So that's instantaneous torque response, and when you hit the throttle, you get some good thrust forward. I don't find the Bolt rather to be quite as responsive on tip-in at speed as the Leaf was. Oftentimes, these EV vehicles, PHEVs as well, launch is really, really great, but once you get up to speed, that's when you start to kind of run out of breath a little bit. You still get some acceleration here in the Bolt, but it doesn't feel quite as zippy as does the Leaf. And I mean, it stands to reason too, because the Bolt makes 200 horsepower and the Leaf makes 214 horsepower. So there's more power coming from the Leaf. However, the Leaf only makes 250 pound-feet of torque. The Bolt makes 266. So there is a bit of a trade-off there, but even then, I still found the Leaf to be better once it's speed on the highway, when it comes to acceleration, the needing to make a pass at highway speeds and so on, than I'm finding right now the Bolt to be. But it is nice and quiet though. Very quiet, very little air noise as the wind is kind of sucked over the aerodynamic profile of the Bolts. Nothing over the wing mirrors here. Very little road noise too. Nice and quiet, and that's a big plus for EVs, just how quiet they operate. And of course, it's on the highway where we often want to explore various driver aids we might have, and I've got the full suite here. I've got a lane keep assist system, adaptive cruise control, I've got a blind spot warning system, and what I like about a lot of this is I've got buttons here on my steering wheel that I can activate or deactivate it. So right now I've got lane keep off. Hit that button here. Now let me see if it's on now. Let me see here. Yes. Let's see. Yep, steers me right back onto line afterwards, which is nice. And I've got the distance cruise here, so I can easily adjust how far or close I can follow the vehicle ahead of me. So full suite of, and I've also got a forward collision alert system here as well. It flashes on my windshield when the car senses I'm getting too close to something. So full suite of driver aids in the Chevy Bolt, which is great. And I've got heated steering wheel as well. I've got heated seats too. So heated up front, not in the back, I don't believe. No, not. So that's nice. A couple of cup holders up here in my door as well, so you could load a couple of people in this thing and travel fairly comfortably, I'd say. I don't know how much you'd want to use the back seats. They're not bad back there, and the headroom's okay, but it's not like the roomiest. It is a compact vehicle for sure. So and that comes with the territory having a snug back seat and so on. So about to pull into a Petro-Canada here in Langley to charge this baby up. Many of the Petro-Canadas throughout the country have fast chargers now, and this is fast charge capable. So I'm going to pull in there. I started off this trip with about 390 kilometers on my range meter here. I've since driven about 55 kilometers thereabouts. And my range finder is now telling me, or my range meter here is now telling me I'm actually down to 323 kilometers. That means it says I've used 67 kilometers, but I've actually only driven about 55. So not one for one there, but remember I was playing around a little bit earlier. I played around with the climate control system and so on. There was some highway driving there and some cities, so it's kind of all over the map. So let's pull into this Petro-Canada here and see. I'm going to pull in for 20 minutes, half hour thereabouts, and see how much juice I can get back on that. So after my charge, I've got to get going now. So as you can see there, I started at 72%. Now I'm at 86%. That's been about a half hour. Of course, with DC fast charging systems, the fastest charge happens between 0 and 80%, because after that, the battery gets negatively affected by charging too quickly. So if I had gone from 50 to 72 or 50 to 80, for example, would have been a lot faster, probably than half an hour. But that's where I'm at right now. As you can see there, it cost me $8.10 to charge up here at the Petro-Canada fast charger right here with the Chevy Bolt. Really, both the Leaf and the Bolt are really well engineered EVs. They're built by manufacturers that obviously know what they're doing in this regard. The great kind of driver aids they have, the charging aids they have and offer, the range they offer, all really, really good stuff. But they're not the same vehicle, actually. I mean, the Leaf is a little more buttoned down, a little more grown up, actually, than the Bolt is. The Bolt is actually probably the more kind of youth-oriented of the two vehicles. So what your preference between the two is really going to boil down to if you like that image or not. You're going to get similar performance from both, similar charging and range from both as well. The question becomes do you want the more kind of simple, more traditional look of the Leaf, or the more kind of high-techy, screens everywhere look of the Bolt? Both really good options for sure. They offer similar warranties. warranties, similar cost of entry, and so on. So yeah, both really good choices. It's going to boil down to what kind of image you want to espouse more. So hope you enjoyed the video, videos, I guess. Please, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do. If not, of course, no hard feelings. You can also follow me on Twitter at DanTheWheelman and on Instagram at DanTheWheelman as well. So thanks for tuning into this video, and until next time, sayonara, folks.